Oh, right. Very different video for you today. This is going to be a build order on how to do the Bengali siege elephants plus monks for the Bengali siege elephant plus monks plus karambit strategy. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to put 7 onto food because food is very good. I also see that I have some deers. I'm just going to scout with my cows as well. Why not? But it really doesn't matter. You do need to be comfortable with deer pushing because making a mill is super duper not chill. Try and only have one animal underneath the TC. I know that's ironic me saying that, but it's not super duper essential. It's actually quite a lax castle age time because we're gonna go 24 pop up rather than 20 pop up. I have builds that allow you to go 20 pop up. We don't need that for this particular build. Why do we not need to go up faster? Because we need the karambits to be there at around the same time. So I find 24 pop to be a very nice middle ground in which you're up slightly faster than the karambit player, but not so much faster, and not having resources would definitely be an issue if you went for 20 pop up. You wouldn't be able to do monks plus siege. That would probably just be monks. Now once you have those 7 onto food, I like to go 4 onto wood. I'm sure there's other combinations of villagers that you can do, but this seems to work very nicely for me. And you'll see later on, it's just going to become a balancing act between wood and gold. A little bit more about that later on. Definitely want to have villagers working if we possibly can. Very nice. And at some point we're going to need a house, so we might as well just slap that down now. And we can slap down an additional, but the reason I'm choosing not to is because I want to make the mill relatively quickly, and I want to put about 6 on that. We're also going to be scouting out at the same time. I know if you can't handle all of this stuff, Arkham's razor it for yourself, meaning the simplest solution is oftentimes the best solution. If you can't handle the scouting, don't worry about the scouting, but this is just what I like to do to give myself the best chance for the dub. We're looking specifically for where my opponent is. Everybody else now goes to food. Once we have the 100 wood for the mill, we're going to send over villagers to the berries. Like I said before, we're going to go for a total of 6 onto berries. The build is actually really simple from this point on. It's just going to be food, because it's good, need that food, 24 pop and up. Now, since we're going 24 pop up, we might as well make one additional house that will be important at some point, so we might as well just get that out of the way so we don't have to spend any time thinking about it. But you can put the house in at whatever time you choose. The most optimal way, just a little something, it will work if you don't do this, but the most optimal way with berries is to have 2 on each side, and then we're going to add a 3rd on each side. That's, once again, most optimal, but don't worry about it. Mostly we're just grabbing as much food as we possibly can. Now with the additional wood that you have, don't be fearful to add additional farms. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but farming here is going to be very good in the long term, as we're going to need that for the siege elephants and potentially villager production. Let's just go auto scout. I don't want to think about it. As I mentioned before, Arkham's razor it for yourself. Make it as easy as possible. And I think this build is very doable at 1300 elo, 1400 elo. Heck, I think 1200 elo you could even pull this off as long as you are comfortable pushing those Dioritos. That's not a great boar lore because of the tree right there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Also, people always ask me why I don't do the boar trick. I don't want my stuff to die, so I prefer not to do the boar trick. We have about 6 on berries. We could add an additional, just if we feel like it. Maybe we will. It's not exact. What I'm trying to say is keep the main goal in mind. Their main goal is to get a whole bunch of siege elephants out, plus monks as quickly as possible. You can now see that we are approaching the 24 villager mark. That means we're going to get one of these. Normally, I would send 4 over to wood, but instead, we're going to send those over to straggler trees. And this works very, very nicely because we're just going to sell the stone to supplement for the gold that we need to go to Castle Age. At the same time, we're going to make some additional farms. We want a total of 6 farms just about. We just want to be cautious not to spend too much wood. We need a total of 325 wood for both a market and a blacksmith. The market is very, very important because we need to sell that stone, and the blacksmith is essential as it is a prerequisite for the siege workshop that we are planning to make. Also, it's just the cheapest way to get up to next age. Now, I feel confident in placing an additional farm over here, so we will do so. And actually, I think we can just about get away with one more farm here, and that will already have 4. But if you don't feel confident in that, don't feel like you have to make those farms right away. I'm going to grab these guys over here. I'm going to bring them forward just ever so slightly. Villager plus loom for the next age. And that's going to be 2 on the market, 1 on the blacksmith. Oh, and I made a mistake. That's okay. We can just do loom and then vill. We should also have made a house. Just goes to show, if things go wrong, just adapt. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Once we are up, we're going to sell the stone. And if you didn't get housed, this should be a really, really smooth click up. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to pick up double bit, because double bit is very, very nice. And now we're actually going to transition more villagers over to wood and to gold. And this is where the balancing act kind of begins, because initially you need more gold, and then later on you need more, initially you need more wood, and then later on you need more gold. So that's just a little thing to be aware of. So we're going to overload our wood here. And I kind of want to squeeze out one more farm just for later stages. Boop, boop. And then I guess you guys can come over here. Oop. These guys are going to go over there. That's fine. I like to pick up the armor, but this is also where the build order kind of breaks down because you have a lot of different options to choose from. We should be going over right around the 50% mark. We're a little bit slow to that, but hey, it's fine. In 2v2s, your opponent is relatively close, and if the siege workshop isn't exactly where the opponent's gate is, it's no big deal either. So I like to pick this one up just so that my elephants have more armor. Really makes a huge difference overall. And we are getting good on the wood number. We probably want to make a siege workshop plus a monastery, potentially a second monastery. I also like to squeeze out 2 additional vills just because I can. Oops, smack out more. And I think this is a good spot for the siege workshop. And we're also going to go monastery. Do we see any relics nearby? Yes, we do. Perfecto. And then I'm just going to control group these guys. And I'm also going to control group my Marquito. Very nice. And then once this is done, smack down a house. Elefante. And we're going to keep those Elefantes hidden because our karambits are not going to be there quite yet. Those we want to just use to pick up stuff. And at this point, we just about don't need wood anymore. I would like one more additional workshop, if at all possible. Or sorry, monastery. And I think the second monastery is useful because monks just produce so slow. And we're going to put this one in our control group as well. And now we're pretty much set up for our karambits to come over. If you want, you can pick up Redemption. I would highly recommend that if your opponent is going to go for counter siege. You can then use your monks to counter their siege, which is just brilliant, and you're going to get in that way. Also, you want the karambits to snipe the siege, but this is a great way to do that for you. If you have a little bit too much food and you want some more monks, now you can make the adjustments as needed. So as I mentioned, we're probably going to want to pick up Redemption as quickly as possible. If we need to sell anything, we will do so. And we are ready to push into my opponent's face. And at this point, hopefully the karambits will be there. And you will be making a whole bunch of macaronis. And now, if you want, you can keep making villagers as well. I know it's like a complete gold economy. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I've seen some people, they like to pick up the second armor. I think the second armor is not really worth it. I would rather have more elefantes. And your farms are going to run out at this time, so potentially the villagers on farms go to wood, but you can also just buy food as need be. And that is the strategy from the Bengalis' perspective. And your eco can be quite strong behind this as well. This will wipe out people completely. And with that, I hope that helped you do the Bengali part of this strategy. Don't let your memes just be dreams. Next up is the Malay part of this strategy, in which I will show you how to do a Malay 28 pop up to reach castle at the same time that the elephants are here. So you're here with your elephants at around the 16 to 17 minute mark. Alright, now for the Malay part of this build. The Malay part of this build I think is very, very interesting because it's a 20 pop and up. I'm just going to make sure that we have 3 deers on this, otherwise I will restart this. I want 3 deers. Why? Because I want to show you that it works with 3 deers and it works with 4 deers. If it works with 3, it's obviously going to work with 4 as well. Personally, I just love starting out with 7 on food. It just forces me to not force off. That's a counterintuitive sentence. It's fine. It doesn't force you to drop off as much, and it just feels a lot smoother to me to go for 7 on food than it does to go for 3. It's actually going to be very similar to the Bengali build, in which we're going to put our next villagers onto wood, push in our deer, and potentially help out scouting those relics. Remember, you're a team, so it's not just the Bengalis players' responsibility to go for the reliquitos. You can both look for the reliquitos, and that will definitely give you a relatively big boost in terms of economy. Even if you can just pick up 1 or 2 relics, that's like additional 1 or 2 onto the gold stuff. One thing that I didn't mention in the Bengali game, as the game is just getting started and I don't think I need to say anything more, is once you have completely obliterated one individual, if you're having trouble pushing the second guy, it is an option to just go full boom, both of you, and then hopefully win in that way in a 2v1 scenario, hopefully holding, maybe getting fortified wall if you get fortified wall, or putting additional layers behind. Just something to keep in mind. Also want to keep in mind that we want to be collecting from close. That would be wunderbar. I think we found all of our resources here. We want to keep collecting food as much as possible. It's a little bit difficult for me to play and talk at the same time, but I'll do my best. That's probably why I don't do build orders on the regular, but somebody in my members has requested for me to do this, so of course I want to do that. People who are on the P Daddy tier, or I really need to find new names for my membership tiers, but whatever. They get to pick one build order every single day. If it catches on, maybe we'll do that more frequently for people who are doing that. And I think it's nice to communicate with you guys and see which build orders you want to go for. Another thing to keep in... Oh! in mind for the strategy, we want to go over to berries. We definitely want to overload berries as well, just like we did with the Bengalis. We're going to go across with our scouts. So we're going to go over to where my ally is. That way, he has less distance to cover with the siege elephants. Obviously, you could also have the siege elephants be constructed with you, but you know, you have a lot of walking distance, yada yada yada. I just think this overall works better. But if there's an opponent that you're really scared of, for example, let's say there's Turks on one side and you really want to hit the Turk player and the Turk is your opponent, then I would just suggest that the Bengali player makes the siege workshop plus monks forward to target the most worrisome opponent. A little bit of idle time on the TC. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I also just wanted to show you all of my little mistakes and little nuances and adaptabilities, because I think it's important to showcase that this strategy really doesn't have to be perfect execution. We can actually just slap down another house, which I like to do just so that I don't get house. We're going to go for a total of 28 pop up, which may seem like a lot, and it is a lot, but it makes a lot of sense because Malay go to next age significantly faster than other civilizations. We're also going to slap out 2 farms. And, ooh, prefer not to waste any food if we possibly can. Nice, nice, nice. Very nice. And we just want to optimize our berries a little bit here, because that's trash. If you're not doing anything, you should always look at something that you can optimize potentially, like for example this scout that has been idle indefinitely. Another thing that I did not mention in the Bengalis one is sniping the enemy scouts is really, really useful. Why is it so useful? Because those are the units that are going to deal with your monks. So if you can snipe scouts, would highly recommend sniping scouts, doing a team effort to try and get rid of the opponent's scout. We're going to go even more than we did with the Bengalis on berries. We're going 8 on food. And once again, that's just because we don't want to be making too many farms. We want to go up as quickly as we possibly can. We can actually balance this out right meow. Very nice. And that should be pretty good. We got 2 additional farms at this time. Boop. Boop boop. Put it on fire. Boop. Boop. Up to the next age. Oh, oops. That's fine. Don't worry about it. And that's why we have so many on the burritos here. And now normally you would put 4 onto gold, but since we're going up so fast, we're going to go for 5 onto gold. And that should theoretically get us the gold required for next age. Just a quick little nuance here. 4 should be fine if you don't get loom. If you get loom, then you probably want to have 5. Since we're building the castle at home defensively, we don't need to get loom, so technically you could get away with just doing 4. Just a small little thing there. Boop, boop. We're going to use these villagers to make Mark Blacksmith, 2 additional vills. Oh, did not mean to get that guy. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, as soon as this is done, we're going to send everybody onto stone. Just absolutely everybody. We need stone more than anything else. And up. Very nice. And one more. make a mining camp. And the reason I just send absolutely everybody is because we want to have the karambits out as soon as possible. Even if our eco is a little bit trash in the short term, it's fine. Another thing that we're going to do here, I know another little controversial thing that I like to do, is to make sure that we have the castle out sooner rather than later. I'm going to slap down one more house. And we're going to buy an additional 100 stone. Even though we have 16 on stone already, we're still going to speed this bad boy up and get another 100 stone. If you're a little bit slower or you want your eco to be a little bit more balanced, that's fine. You can also pick up double bit at this time. Double bit, normally a pretty good one. And look, even with all of that on stone, plus the gold that we have, we're still not going to be able to perfectly make this castle unless we force drop off. And that should be good. Slap that down. And now we can spam those karambits. We're going to make as much food as we can. And all of these guys, I normally send over to gold and or food once they're done. And then we'll be able to continuously spam karambits. You already get the armor upgrades, so if you want to get the attack upgrades, that's something you could do. Although better, I think, is getting the speed upgrade from... We're going to control 2 this, send these over. We're going to go over here, and look at that. We already have 6 in the queue. Now we can comfortably make additional villagers whenever we have the opportunity, or cancel a little bit, make some villagers, and go like that. Obviously, we can also buy gold. But yeah, we're going to be able to spam quite a bit. I don't think your eco is the most important part in this strategy. Come on, guys. Work a little bit. I think much more important, we're going to cancel this, is having continual stream of karambits. And that's kind of how I like to do it. And any additional wood goes onto farms. And we can kind of manage our eco a little bit, but then once we get over, it's going to be way more important to manage our overall karambits. And you can see that we're right at about the 16-minute mark when we want to push with those elefantes. And that is how you do both the karambits plus the siege elefantes. I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed. And with that, don't let your memes just be dreams. Poop Lord out.